why are we here? We're here to talk about asset protection and land trust, right? So I'm not going to spend too much time delaying this, but Randy Hughes is known as Mr. Land Trust, and he's been a full-time investor since he bought his first rental property in 1969. After investing for 10 years, Randy decided he wanted to learn more about protecting his investments so he's not a target in any lawsuits. Now Randy has used land trust in his business for over 35 years. I think I've been in real estate investing for a long time, at 19 years, but 35 years is a long time. Okay? And he is committed to not putting any more any properties in his personal name, which is, you're going to hear why here shortly. So we welcome America's #1 expert on land trust for real estate investors. Let's give him a round of applause, please.
Thank you.
Welcome, Randy.
Nice to see you. Nice to come back. Good to see you this morning. Thanks for inviting me. I came all the way from Champaign, Illinois. Anybody ever heard of Champaign?
I have.
Yeah. All the way from Champaign, just to talk to you about this extremely important subject. I think it's been a year or two since I was here. Was anybody at that speech last time?
I was.
Okay. Yeah, you still ran the group, didn't you? So we are going to talk today about why you shouldn't own this stuff in your name. I know that may be a foreign concept to you. And I know most of your attorneys have probably told you to hold title in an LLC. Anybody got an LLC in here? Sure, everybody and their grandchild has an LLC, right? I use LLCs in my business, but not to hold the title. Let's just think about this logically. Didn't our grandparents teach us that you don't put all your eggs in one basket? Well, the same philosophy holds true with real estate. You don't put all your titles in one anything. Not one land trust, not one LLC, or not one corporation. Why? Anybody imagine why? The domino effect. Very good. So let's say you put 10 single-family rental houses in one LLC. You have a problem on one property. There's a lawsuit. They sue. They win. They get a judgment against the owner. Who's the owner? The LLC, right? So now they got a judgment against 10 properties. Does that make any sense to you? I teach you to put each property into its own separate trust. That way, each one is insulated from the other. So if you got to burn one, that's okay. It's better than burning 10. Doesn't that seem logical? And it's so simple, and it's so easy, and it doesn't cost anything. How much does it cost to form an LLC in Texas?
$300
$300 every year?
No, just one time.
One time? What's your annual?
There's no annual.
They don't charge for registered agent?
Nope. Well, if you need a registered agent, yeah, if you're not going to do it yourself.
But you can get a registered agent for $35 a year.
For $35 a year?
Yeah.
Wow, that's cheap.
Yeah.
$500 a year. $500 every year in Illinois. In California, it's $800 a year. So you guys got a great deal. So I do use LLCs in my business. I think they're great. I think they're good asset protection tools, but not to hold the title. I'll give you a diagram here in a minute how to do this, but basically I use the LLC as the beneficiary of the trust. Make sense? The other benefit to that is the LLC isn't exposed to the public. Can't I look up who owns your LLC? Sure can. Unless you form that LLC in Wyoming, which is, to my knowledge, the only state that doesn't publish the owners of LLCs, I can look up who owns it. So you have no privacy of ownership holding it in an LLC. So you're risking all your properties by titling in an LLC, and you're letting the public know everything you own, which makes you a larger target for a lawsuit. Doesn't make much sense, does it? So if you put each property into a trust and then make the beneficiary of the trust your LLC, you get the privacy of ownership and continue to get the asset protection. I've been teaching land trust information for 19 years now, and I travel all over the country speaking to groups like yours. I get asked pretty much the same question, so I put together this little booklet with over 50 reasons to use a trust. And if you'd like a free copy of this, you can do it one of two ways. You can text the word reasons to that number and get an electronic version. Or I'm going to pass this little sheet around. If you want me to, I'll email you a copy if you give me your name and email address. I just ask that you make your printing clear enough for me to read it. And I'll send you a copy.
They all write like doctors.
So, the secret to real estate privacy and the cornerstone to financial security is, for us as real estate investors, is to not let the world know what you own. I mean, think about it. Doesn't the general public think that anybody who's a real estate investor is rich?
Yes.
Yeah. You could be upside down, you could owe more money than it's worth, you could have negative cash flow, you're losing your socks, but they think you're rich, right? So that's what makes us a bigger target for a lawsuit, because everybody thinks we're rich. So here's how it works. Don? Yes. I run over Don's dog, and he goes to his attorney and says, I want to sue Randy because he killed my dog. And Don's attorney says, okay. What was his name? Randy Hughes? He types in his computer, Randy Hughes. And if the printer starts printing, address after address of real estate in my name, Don's attorney turns to him and says, Don, I think we got a pretty good case here. Now that's called a contingency fee lawsuit. That means Don pays nothing to sue me. And his attorney gets 1/3 of what he extracts out of me, and Don gets 2/3. And Don will sue anybody on the planet under that deal. It doesn't cost him any money, right? Let's back up. Let's change the scenario. Let's say Don goes to the attorney, says, I want to sue Randy Hughes, and he types in my name, and the printer doesn't budge. Nothing. Doesn't mean I don't have something. It just means there's nothing in my name. So the first implication is I don't have it. Now Don's attorney turns to him and says, well, Don, I have a dog too, and I love it dearly. I'll be glad to sue you. All I need you to do is get your checkbook out. Make a check out to my escrow account. Just $10,000 to get started. And every month, I'll chase Randy Hughes, and I'll send you a letter showing you how much money I've spent, how much time I've spent chasing Randy Hughes. And when we run out of $10,000, I'll just ask for another. Is that all right? You think Don's going to sue me? Probably not. He might, but probably not. So you can see, even though every attorney on planet Earth will tell you a land trust is not an asset protection tool, and it's not designed to be an asset protection tool, it becomes one just by not telling the public what you own. It just changes the dynamics of the situation. And that's what I want to teach you how to do. If you own real estate in your name now, get it out of your name. There's a booklet with 50 reasons to get it out of your name. Not just privacy of ownership, not just asset protection, but a lot of other reasons, like avoiding probate. Does everybody know what probate is? Everybody who owns real estate in their name, right now, if you die today, your heirs aren't going to get control of that real estate for several months, if not a year, because it has to go through probate. Now you can see the detriment to your heirs if you've got a piece of real estate that they can't get their hands on. They may need money out of that real estate to bury you, who knows? But if you use a trust, the moment you die, your heirs will get control of that property. That's pretty cool. I'll give you a real life example of that to me here in a few minutes. Here's my disclaimer, which says I'm not a lawyer, I'm not an accountant, giving you legal or tax advice. Just a little history on myself. I did start buying houses when I was in college in 1969. That's how I make my living, in the house business. Not selling land trust information, but in the house business. That's all I know how to do. And while I've been using the trust for I need to update my bio there, but almost 40 years now. I've been a landlord for 47 years. My father was an alcoholic. He got in the car one day when I was 16 and drove off, and he never came back. And the reason why I tell you that is because I didn't start with any seed money. There was nothing, absolutely, positively nothing to start with. And when you start with nothing, and you work really hard for a long period of time to get something, the last thing you want to do is go back to nothing. That's what can happen to you if you don't buy this stuff and own it the right way. I know you may be thinking, oh, that's a great idea, and someday I'll have enough real estate to worry about this, but not now. I'm going to give you some real life stories that happened to me, happened to my neighbors, that will hopefully convince you to start using a trust to hold title. And if it doesn't, I'm sorry. I've done the best I can is to expose you to it. If you can't take it and run with it, that's not my fault. I'm going to lead a horse to water, right? All right. Is anybody using a trust right now? Okay, so we got a couple of people that are doing it. That's great. So you're about to discover how not only using a trust benefits you from an asset protection, privacy, and an estate plan benefit, but how you can make more money using a trust on the same deals that you're doing now. Anybody selling notes or buying contracts, notes? It's a great way to make money in this business, but you can do it inside a trust instead of in your name personally, or instead of your IRA. Is anybody investing money out of their Roth? Yeah. You can do that using a trust. So you're not buying and having the public see your personal IRA name on a note or a mortgage or something. So we combine these trusts with LLCs. We avoid frivolous lawsuits. And don't be intimidated by this. It's just a few pieces of paper. All a trust is, we could write a legal trust on one piece of paper. And it would be fine. So we need two things. We need a trust agreement. That's the contract between the trustee and the beneficiary. What's your name? So Wendy could be my trustee, and I'm the beneficiary. So we need two parties, and we need a deed and a trust agreement. That's all. The trust agreement is Wendy and my agreement on what her duties are and what my duties are. The deed simply puts the property into the trust. Okay? So we got. You can be my trustee, yes. An individual can be a trustee. In fact, in my home study course I brought for you today, there's a whole chapter in there on who can be, who should be your trustee. The short answer is it should be somebody with a different last name than you, obviously. And preferably somebody who lives out of the county in which the property is located. We'll cover that reasoning in here in a few minutes. What can you put in these trusts? Well, pretty much all kinds of real estate. Houses, this building could be in a trust. Kentucky Fried Chickens, apartment buildings, notes, mortgages, air rights, mineral rights. Had a guy call me last year and said, I want to get your home study course and learn how to create land trusts. And I said, great, what are you going to do? He was in Kentucky. He said, I've got 1,500 oil and gas leases. Some of them go boom and some of them go bust. And I don't want one to infect the other by putting them all in one entity like an LLC. So he said, I want to create 1,500 trusts. So they're all insulated from each other. Smart guy. And that's what he did. He bought my home study course and created 1,500 trusts. Imagine the amount of money he saved. What would that cost him to hire an attorney to do that? Probably $500 to $1,000 a trust is what an attorney would typically in this area charge. Now I've got a friend in California, a lady friend who's an attorney, and she charges $1,650 per trust. Yes, ma'am.
You put, you're saying apartment buildings, commercial buildings, so a business could start off.
A business can start on land trust, but you wouldn't put a business in a land trust.
But the title would be a business name, so you could put that in the property.
Well, the title to the property
Yes.
would not be in the business name. It would be in the name of the trust and the trustee. Now, the business could be the beneficiary of the trust. Okay?
That's what I asked.
Okay, yeah. Certainly can make the beneficiary. So let's discover that. Well, who can do these? Who can create these trusts? All these entities can create a trust. If you already have an LLC, it can create a trust. If you don't, and you want to do it personally, you can create a trust. If you have a partnership, a corporation, there's no licensing requirements. There's no continuing education requirements. There's no bonding, no insurance requirements. Anybody and everybody qualifies. It's kind of like buying a used car. Everybody qualifies. Let's keep those commercials down here. Everybody qualifies. Why should you do it? Well, they're simple to form. You get privacy and asset protection. You make greater profits. They're great when we link these together with the LLC. So I'm not saying do away with your LLC. I'm just saying let's bury the LLC a little bit deeper than where you got it now. Let's put it underneath the trust so the public doesn't see who's in control. They're free. That's a pretty good deal. You can't say, hey, Randy, that's a great idea, it's too expensive. They're free. And you can do it yourself. I had a lady call me in January from Illinois. And she said, I need to create a land trust fast. And I said, great, I can help you with my homesteading course. She said, no, I don't want your homesteading course. I don't want to do it. I need to create it fast. I said, okay. She said, can you refer me to an attorney? I said, sure. And I did. And I forgot about it. Early March, she calls me again and says, hey, Randy, can you help me get this attorney off dead center? I said, what's the matter? She said, well, I gave him all the information in January. I paid him $500, and I haven't seen him since. I said, well, you should have bought my homesteading course. You would have had 10 of them created by now. But that's life. All I'm saying is, it's much smarter and much better for you if you learn how to do this yourself so you can understand what's going on. And then you can create them. Once you get the forms on your computer, you just hit print and you can print them out and make 10 in a day if that makes you happy. So it's not hard to do. Who's not using this privacy tool? Well, owners that put real estate in their name. And that's what makes you a target for a lawsuit in this business. And weird things happen in this business. After being in this business for 47 years, I've seen a lot of crazy stuff happen. And if you plan on staying in this business a long time, something's going to happen to you. It's just a matter of time. Something will happen. It's weird, crazy, and can be devastating to your finances. For example, 35 years ago, I bought a shopping center with a friend of mine. And I insisted on putting the title in the trust. In the year 2000, he moved out of Champaign, Illinois. He moved to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And started developing real estate. He was very successful, made millions of dollars. Until when? Anybody got an idea? What year? 2008. A crash occurred and he started losing millions of dollars. So it's been 2 or 3 years ago now, I'm sitting at my computer. I get a report. I don't know if you guys get this. It's called the court reporter. It's everything that's recorded in my courthouse. You get married, you get divorced, you buy a house, you refinance, you buying or selling, the judgment, the IRS lien, all comes to my desk. It used to be in paper and now it's email. So I'm looking at this report on my computer about 3 years ago, and whose name do I see on there but my friend? It's been 15, 16 years since he's lived in Champaign. But a bank in Florida has filed a lien for $3.2 million against him. 15 years after he's moved out. What are they doing? They're looking for assets, right? They want paid. I sat back and I said, oh my God, I just dodged the bullet. Because if we don't have real estate in our names, I would have just lost everything. Because of something somebody else did. Now, that's a bad day when you lose everything because you did something stupid. The try going home to your loved one and explaining to her that, honey, we lost everything today because of something somebody else did. And I was too stupid to protect our assets. That's the conversation. So please don't let that happen to you. Don't ever go on a deed with anybody. I don't think you should go on a deed with yourself. You should go on title in the trust, but if you don't believe what I'm telling you, at least believe that don't ever go on a deed with somebody else, because that could happen to you. You could lose everything. 40 years of work, principal reduction, cash flow, appreciation, gone in a heartbeat because of something he did. Does that convince you? Because if that story doesn't convince you, nothing will. That is a real life story. Incidentally, about 5 years ago, I attended a seminar on Saturday for lawyers. I'm not a lawyer, but I got snuck in there somehow, got in the back of the room, listened to 200 lawyers. All day seminar on Saturday. You know what their subject was? How to discover your assets. All day. I subscribe to the Illinois Bar Journal, and there's a magazine, and on the inside cover was a full-page ad. It says, uncovering the landlord's hidden assets was as easy as reading the sports page. LexisNexis, you ever heard of those guys? See, everything you sign that gets recorded, they track. That's why I want to teach you, quit signing things that gets recorded. Let somebody else sign it for you, like your trustee. And then you won't be tracked. And it's not that we're trying to hide anything, we're not doing anything illegal, immoral, or fattening here. We're just trying to protect our assets. It's nobody's business what you own or control. It's not your business what I own or control. So kind of have a change of your mindset here and think, how do I stay out of the public records? How do I protect my assets as I'm accumulating? Because you don't want to work really, really hard for 10 or 15 or 20 years for somebody else, do you? That's what can happen to you. So hopefully you're going to join the club of smart real estate investors today and start using a trust. Oh, this is great. I found this in a magazine. You see yourself up there? Yeah. Maybe 4 months. This is kind of toasty. Look, this is interesting. At the bottom, 97% of lawsuits filed don't go to trial. What's that tell you? Only 3% go to trial. 97% are settled, right? Which means the lawyers make all the money. You lose, they win. So if you just stay out of that little game, your life will be much better. If all my home study course that teaches you how to form a trust, if all this did was prevent you from sitting across the table with these guys once in your life, it would be worth it. Just once? Probably would. Probably would. All right. I said I had this lady attorney from California that when I'm out there, we get together and have lunch and we talk about trusts. And we went to lunch one day and the car parked in front of us got that license plate, so I had to snap a picture. The one at the bottom was an attorney in my town. So it got me to thinking, who's looking out for me? We got these sharks swimming in the water, you know. Who's looking out for me? Who's looking out for you? So I made a list. Want to see it? Basically, it's your job to look out for your assets. Right? I have an attorney that I use for all my real estate closings. Smart guy. I wouldn't close a deal without him, but I can guarantee you he's not laying awake at night worrying about how to protect my assets. It's my job. And it's your job to do it with you, your family, your kids, and your grandkids. And this is a long-term thing. It's a long-term way of thinking. And you got to think in advance. Privacy and asset protection is a proactive thing. You can't wait until the wolf is at the door before you do it. I know a lot of people, I mean, I speak to a lot of people every year. And only about 20% of them actually do. That means 80% are saying somewhere in their mind, oh, I'll worry about it later, it's no big deal, blah, blah, blah. I get an email or a phone call once a week from somebody who's in an audience like this that says, yeah, I know I should have done it, Randy, but can you tell me, I just got word I'm being sued by a tenant. What can I do? And I say, well, let's see, this is Saturday, tomorrow's church day. You should probably go to church tomorrow and do some praying, because that's all you can do at this point. Asset protection is something you have to do in advance. There's a concept called old and cold matters, which means you got to do it in advance. You can't run out the day before you're going to court and put your properties in trust and think it's going to protect you. It won't. Everybody in here has car insurance, don't they? Everybody in here has insurance on their personal residence, fire insurance. Why? Because that, when they hit your house, right? This is the same concept. You need to learn how to protect your investments, just like you do your car, just like you do your house. Is everybody awake? Am I the only one excited about this? All right. I do speak a lot in California a lot, and I spoke to a group just like this. And the meeting was over. The guy came up to me afterwards, and when he started talking, he's an attorney. I said, "Wait a minute, stop. We got to record this." So hopefully, you got your speaker on too. Let's see. Can you turn it up, please? Turn it off. Okay. Listen, I was playing that. Wait. I'm trying to back it up. Can you back it up to the previous slide? There we go. Okay, now. Still there. Anybody have any questions? Is this making sense to you? Is there any reason, tell me honestly, is there any reason why you wouldn't want to do this? Yes. She's worried about the trustees then. Great, let's talk about that. Anybody or everybody can be your trustee. You can hire a professional trustee. It could be your mother-in-law or your aunt or uncle. There's no qualification to be a trustee. You just have to have a temperature. Okay? So I have a whole chapter in my home study course of who can be and who should be your trustee. And I give you lots of ideas because ideally your trustee is somebody that doesn't charge you. Because if you're active in this business, you may have 10 or 20 or more trusts. So it's going to get expensive if you hire a professional trustee if you're very active in this business. Okay, thank you. So, I teach you how to do this, hopefully at no cost. If you can't find a trustee, that's okay. I'll refer you to somebody. They'll charge you a couple $100 a year. My assistant out at the table, you'll see her when I'm done speaking, Sasha, she's a trustee.
Is there any way to get your property?
Is there any way that they can get your property? No. They hold title to your property, but it's subject to the beneficiary. They can't do anything without written direction from the beneficiary to sign a mortgage or sign a deed. Otherwise, their hands are tied. There's over 100 years of case law that backs that up in the United States. If the trustees just walk away with your property, nobody would use a trust. So there are checks and balances. But great question. I'm glad you asked it. It's a problem a lot of people are thinking.
I've been a trustee for a lot as well.
You have a trustee?
And I've acted as a trustee many times too.
Yeah, I'm a trustee on some property out in California, so anybody, everybody, yes, sir?
So what happens if a trustee passes away?
Great question, I'm glad you asked that. I've had 9 trustees die in the last 40-some years. When the first one died, I thought, oh my God, I'm going to lose my property. the title's in a dead man's name.